Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
Speaking of teams in and around the relegation zone, there was some big news coming out of Crystal Palace this week that they have sacked their manager, Patrick Vieira. This is what Steve Parish had to say. It is with enormous regret that this difficult decision has been made, but we're now in a precarious league position, so change is necessary. They are 12th in the table, just 3 points above the relegation zone. Dougie, your thoughts on that news?
I was a little bit split on it, really, because recent results have been not very good. No wins in 2023. I don't think they've scored a goal in any of their last 4 league games, but I think he deserves a massive credit for getting that squad younger. I think he's improved it as well. Last year, 12th place finish. I think it was their second highest points tally of the last 9 years, FA Cup semi-final. So I think he just deserved a little bit more time because they've had a really tough run of fixtures and no Wilf Zaha for some of those as well.
Yeah. That's a good point, that. A lot of Palace fans have pointed that out, that they've had a really tough batch of fixtures. And actually, I know they've got Arsenal this weekend, but after that, the fixtures on paper,
opening up.
Their teams in and around them. And it was interesting hearing Vincent Kompany's thoughts, wasn't it? He was saying that obviously Patrick Vieira sort of overachieved last year, and he's almost being compared to his own standards. What were your thoughts on it?
I'm furious, to be honest with you.
Furious
with the sacking of
Okay.
Patrick Vieira. I think it's an absolute disgrace. He's a young manager. He's got a team that loves him. I'm saying if you sack a manager in the middle of the season, there's got to be the perfect manager lined up. There's no options. They've got an international break. I'm hearing Roy Hodgson, Rafa Benitez. Nothing excites me here. Patrick Vieira, he's a young manager. He needs time. I'm really upset about this decision. I think I'm pleased we've got Dougie on because the other Dougie Friedman, calling you out, mate. Bad decision there.
I like it.
Well, get off the fence, Theo. Yeah. Those are strong thoughts of our guest, Theo.
Very emotional.
And he mentioned the relegation. Yeah, very emotional, very strong. I didn't think a Bolton fan would be that passionate about the Crystal Palace management.
He's upset.
Have a bit of your tea, and we're going to look at the table at the minute because he does make a good point, Theo. It's very tight, isn't it, Joe? Look at the table here. From 12th, where Crystal Palace are, who we've just spoken about, they're on 27 points, but Southampton in 20th are on 22. So there's a 5-point gap between 12th and 20th. So many teams, so many big teams in and around it. And it got us thinking about our next item with some of the big teams, but big players that are in and amongst
some big players, some great players down in those relegation spots right now and in that sort of bottom 9 side. So amongst those bottom 9 sides, we've come up with a task for our guests today. We've put it to our guests to build an 11 from those 9 teams that are down there. I'll read out the sides now. Palace, Wolves, Forest, Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Bournemouth, Leeds, Southampton. You're going to have to build a combined 11 of players that are too good to go down.
Ooh, okay.
Frankly,
the best 11 players.
Exactly. They're likely to get big moves off the back of a side going down. Let's start with the formation 4-3-3. I think we're both happy with something like that. 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Goalkeeper.
Usual rules apply, as Joe said.
Can I go
Best
first?
argument will make its way on the board.
Up to you.
So
I'm suggesting Jordan Pickford.
Okay.
Reason being, he's England's number 1. He cannot, at this part of his career, play in the Championship. No question. And he will get contracts from many
He's just signed a brand new contract, a brand new long-term contract at Everton.
Yeah, but he won't play in the Championship. Whether it's a loan with an extension or an option to buy from another club, he will not play second division football. He's England's number 1. He's brilliant. This season, he's made some key saves. I've spoke to Toffees fans yesterday and they were saying they'd be in a much worse position without him this year. I think he's still proven his worth in the Prem.
Yeah, third most saves in the Premier League this season, incidentally.
Who you go for, Dukes?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he will play in the Championship either, just because I don't have Everton to go down. But I'm going with... Sorry, wrong way round. I'm going with Keylor Navas of Nottingham Forest. I was watching them last night. I am pretty worried about Nottingham Forest, it has to be said. But Keylor Navas, in him, they've got a quality keeper, 3-time Champions League winner at Real Madrid, and a regular in those Champions League runs as well. Went to PSG. They brought in Gianluigi Donnarumma, one of the best up-and-coming young keepers. Played more minutes than him last year. Has gone to Forest. Nearly went to Bayern Munich in January. They then got Jan Sommer. Nearly went to Napoli at the start of the year. We'll look back at this in 20 years' time and be like, Keylor Navas with Nottingham Forest. He's quality. He's actually one of my non-negotiables. I think he has to go in.
Oh,
that's not fair.
Is this a bit of Julio Cesar vibes, though, at QPR?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Can I make one suggestion as well? He's 36. I can see him running down his contract. He doesn't really care if he plays.
It's on loan.
There is no way that Keylor Navas
as well.
It's a loan, so does it count? Does it really count? Too good to go down because he won't be going down, he'll be leaving.
All right, it's a valid point. It's a valid point, but
I think that sums it up. The contract.
If you are putting the two keepers against each other in terms of quality, there's only one winner.
Do you agree with that?
He's 36. If we took
So you take Pickford over Keylor Navas now in a one-off game?
That's a horrible thing to say. Too good to go down 11.
Yeah.
I can see him having a year in the Championship. I can't see Pickford this part of his career. That's the argument I'm making. I'm not saying he's better.
Do you know what? I think that is a very legitimate argument, and I think the fact he's on loan disqualifies him.
I think the loan move does count against
loan does
Gates,
count, okay.
And yeah, it's a tough one.
Let's get
Dougie makes a
Pickford
good
up.
argument, but I
Lost
think
one of my
Pickford is a
non-negotiables.
solid choice.
Disappointing.
Right in the middle.
Yeah, what are your non-negotiables?
Dougie, non-negotiable. So yeah, go on, Pickford on.
Right back.
Right back.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, go on.
Go on, Dougie.
You went last time. This is actually one I was thinking about this for a while. I think fullbacks is actually quite difficult at the bottom of the table. I think forwards is also difficult. I went with Kyle Walker-Peters of Southampton.
Yeah.
Really versatile, can play on either side. I think he was slightly unfortunate at Spurs, looking at where they've invested in fullbacks in the last couple of years. Maybe they wanted him to stay around a bit longer. I think he got torn apart by Ousmane Dembele, really, in a Champions League game. Better players than Kyle Walker-Peters have had issues against him. Really versatile, covered for Tino Livramento really effectively this year, who's been out until, I think he's coming back in a couple of weeks' time.
Hopefully.
I think he's been really, really effective. Quietly gone under the radar in a Southampton side whose defence is actually quite good.
That's a good suggestion. For my right back, I've gone with Timothy Castagne. I think he's consistent. He's got over 100 games for Leicester. He plays for Belgium internationally. He's versatile. I think he's a good option for this board. I don't mind either one. This is not a non-negotiable one for me.
You're happy to go. Looks like you're edging towards Kyle Walker-Peters. I was looking at your body language when.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go Castagne's season because Leicester's defence, I think by expected goal second worst.
I was talking to my friend Shorty last weekend, who's a season ticket holder.
Go on,
at Leicester.
Shorty. Shout out.
He gets a mention, and he was saying Castagne is one of their better defenders, to be honest, but can't stay fit is his main issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be happy with Castagne. I think he's a solid player, but I think Kyle Walker-Peters has got to go.
Go on, Smithy.
Okay, let's put Kyle Walker-Peters
I know you
on
wanted
the board.
the 1-1.
Incidentally, we did an underrated 11 recently, and Kyle Walker-Peters was actually the underrated Premier League right back that made it onto the board. So you're not alone in thinking that.
No, that's perfect. That's the right side.
That's right. Okay, centre back. Should we look at your pairings? We usually do centre backs together, so we can see if there's any agreement on this, or have you disagreed entirely?
Yeah, I'm interested to see who
the pair of centre backs.
Dukes.
I've gone for Joachim Andersen, who I'm much more set on, and also Noé Figueiredo. Hasn't actually played that much for West Ham. Got injured and then just came back before the World Cup. I think we saw in the World Cup, I think he was excellent. I think he played 4 games. I think he only conceded 1 goal in those games. I think he's made a big difference to West Ham since he's been back. And then Joachim Andersen, I'm really surprised he's still at Crystal Palace, to be honest. I think he was excellent for Lyon, great for Fulham, and awesome last season as well. Yes, his form maybe has slightly suffered this year, but I think in terms of long ball distribution, everything you'd want from a centre-back, I think Joachim Andersen's right up there.
Andersen's a great shout, by the way, and the stats back it up. Joint most clearances overall in the Premier League this season, most successful long passes by a Premier League defender, most clearances of any Premier League player this season. I think it's a great shout.
Yeah, some good calls there. My 2 centre-backs, I've gone for James Tarkowski.
Yeah.
He's been unreal this season. He's got the most blocks in the Premier League. He's got the best aerial duel percentage out of all centre-backs in the league, 72.2% win.
So go on, that man Thogden.
Marcos Senesi as my other centre-back. Interesting call. He won Player of the Month for Bournemouth. Incredibly technical. I've been watching him ever since he was at Feyenoord Rotterdam. I wanted to see him move to the Premier League. He got the deal, and I think he's been unreal this season. A lot of people don't mention him. I think Bournemouth fans will be happy I've got him on this list.
Yeah, some good shouts there. I also think Tarkowski's.
Can we agree on one apiece?
I'd be happily take Tarkowski over again. He's played more football, and I think he's actually been great this year. Andersen Tarkowski.
Yeah, okay. Good shout.
Shout out to Senesi though, because I agree. I think he's flying under the radar as an excellent centre-back.
Some good shouts there. Should we put them on?
Cool.
Okay, left backs.
Left backs. Theo, do you want to kick off?
Yeah, sure. My left back, I've gone with Renan Lodi. Nearly scored an own goal last night, so I was a little bit worried. But look, he's 24 years old. He plays for Brazil, and he's
But you banned Keylor Navas on loan.
I did,
Renan
but
Lodi on loan.
Renan Lodi, I think if he was to go to the Championship in the future, it wouldn't be a good move. He's too good for it. I can see a Premier League club offering him a contract. I don't think he'll ever do that.
Does fit in with the title of too good to go down. Dukes?
I think, weirdly, the only reason I wouldn't go with him is because, ex-Atletico Madrid, Felipe ex-Atletico Madrid, Navas ex-PSG Real Madrid, and still their defence, I'm just not that convinced by it. But Renan Lodi, fair enough, good player on his own day. I'm actually going with James Justin. Injured since November.
Injured for the rest of the season.
With an Achilles injury. Did his ACL last year. But I think it's really unfortunate that he's still at Leicester. I think in the minutes that he's played for Leicester, he has looked outstanding. I think he's arguably been better than Soyuncu at his peak for Leicester. I think he's been better than Fofana at his peak for Leicester. I think James Justin's so versatile, could play all across that back 4. And I think he's a really underrated player. I know it might count against him that he is currently out injured.
Can we count that player? He's had an ACL and now he's out for the season with...
That's probably the reason. Justin Remontada.
I think we might have to go Renan Lodi here.
Yeah, because of the injury. Yeah.
Although we kind of disqualified a loanee and we're adding a loanee.
Yeah,
Well, we have no choice yet. Simply, he is too good to play in the Championship.
He's
So
a
I
good
think
player.
for that
He's a good player.
Standalone, we should get him on the board.
Thogden's strong today, so you can't argue with that. For fear of
I feel like the
Theo
left-back
leaning
slot-
across me, let's put...
Yeah, I feel like the left-back slot is a bit open, though.
Smithy.
Yeah,
If
it
you guys
is.
at home have any more left-back suggestions,
Yeah,
please do let us know.
Fullbacks was difficult.
Because I think the fullbacks is one of the harder positions. OK, midfielders. Who have we got midfield
I
names?
think you've got the same DM, so should we just put this man on the board? Because I think
Yes, an
everyone
obvious
can
one,
agree.
isn't it?
Declan Rice.
Gotta
Two
be on
magnets.
Tapping. And he is going to get his move, do you think, this summer?
I think so. It's probably time.
Where
I don't
to?
think it's got to the stage where I don't think any West Ham fans would really begrudge him it. I think it's time. I think he's got 1 year left on his deal. There's the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United might come back in for him.
Where's he gonna go?
Chelsea as well. I think he'd be great at Arsenal, to be honest. As that long-term Granit Xhaka replacement, they do need a bit more depth in that midfield area. Behind Jorginho, there's only sort of El Neni or so.
I think he's had enough playing next to Souček.
Yeah.
It's time to move on. You
Souček's
can see with his
almost
body
dragging
language
down.
on the pitch as well that he's just a bit more frustrated when his teammates lose the ball. I think he's ready for that step up in the Premier League, and there's no denying he's the anchor of that England team too.
OK, next two. Let's have a look at, if we're playing a 4-3-3, the two
Give me a
midfield
two.
options
Yeah,
that you've
both.
got, and we'll work
Yeah,
out...
OK.
I've gone for big Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
Excellent player. And James Maddison as well.
You put a Wolves player in.
Two big
I have
players.
put a Wolves player in.
I can't see them as getting relegated.
Well, they're still in this. They're,
They're
still
still
in this category.
We've
They're in
allowed them. They are
they're
But
in
we're
the
looking at the teams from Crystal Palace down, so
Yeah.
they're in the mix.
They
with
counted
with
in
regards
the
to
in the
points
reckoning.
now.
Ruben Neves has played in the Championship before, and it was a bit of a
Yeah.
joke.
Oh, yeah.
He was only about 20.
I remember when he faced Bolton the day they went up, and he was a joke. He just
He's-
ran the game.
he's far
I
too
think they
good.
won
Only
5-0.
scores outrageous goals.
I
as well,
know,
doesn't
I
he?
know. But his
Unbelievable.
distribution's brilliant as well. I mean, we talk about it for Joachim Andersen, but I think it's most long passes in the Premier League outside of goalkeepers. And then James Maddison, this guy's absolute class, to be honest. I made a bit of a name for myself pre-World Cup, saying it wouldn't be a disaster if he didn't go to the World Cup. He
Saw that.
eventually did, and it didn't prove to be a disaster that he was there because he couldn't really play. But
Yeah.
for Leicester, the key man, crucially.
I think James Maddison has to go on this board. I mean, you think of the list
you have
of
James Maddison?
potential
Yeah, I'll be honest,
to on
actually.
here.
I've gone for a different formation, so 4-3-3 doesn't really suit me because I don't have a forward left. I've got 3 midfielders to put
Okay.
forward to.
Okay.
And let's just tick him off right now.
Let's
James
put Maddison on.
If you've both
Maddison.
got Madders,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
whoa, do you
Sorry, went a bit
throw
early
Snoop
there.
Neves in there?
So go on, so Neves.
My
who's
two other
battling out with
midfielders.
Neves then in your team?
Good question. We've got Paqueta, but we've already got West Ham midfielder down. I just think when you've got a Brazil international who benches Bruno Guimaraes in the World Cup team.
I agree.
And I also think for Leon, we've seen the form. I don't think it's been good for West
Disappointing
Ham.
for West Ham.
What I would
Yeah,
say
but
is
there's
there's
a
2
player with a
goals
real
and 2
special player
assists
in
in
him.
18 Premier League appearances this season for a player that, as you said, benches
Yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes for Brazil and starts for Brazil.
But is that his fault? Are we saying
not his fault.
Would you not
When it
want
comes to £50 million, you need more.
That's
He
what I'm
would
saying.
want
You
more
pay
than
50
that, wouldn't he,
mil.
than 2 goals and 2 assists. is
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
pay
saying.
50
But
mil
I feel
for
like
it.
it's not necessarily Lucas Paqueta's fault. The way that West Ham are set up, we've seen what's happened with a player like Gianluca Scamacca since he's arrived there. I don't know whether the team is set up right for a player like Lucas Paqueta.
I think big players, instantly make a team better, and I don't think he's made West Ham better. I don't think Scamacca has either. I don't know how he'd get him in there, to be honest.
Okay.
Really?
Who's
Who's
the
your
other
other midfielder?
My other one is James Ward-Prowse. Way too good to go down.
See, that I can take as an argument with Neves.
So you're
And
not
I think
having
Ward-Prowse-
Paqueta, but you think
I'd-
the debate
yeah, I'd
here is
happily
between
debate these
Neves
two.
and
I'll happily
Prowse.
drop Paqueta in the argument if we're having Ward-Prowse on the board as well, because he's the best free kick taker in the world. He's going to get offers. It's a matter of time. But people always talk about his free kicks, but it's actually everything else at part of his game. His leadership skills on the pitch, his aggression. He leads the line, and I think he has to be on this team. He'd fit great in the midfield with Maddison and Declan Rice.
Yeah, played
only
every
thing
minute
is-
of all the games for Southampton. Top Premier League score for Southampton as well, and the free kick record.
The only thing is, we've already got James Maddison in the team. Do we need another free kick specialist? And Ruben Neves, for me, is a better all-round player than James Ward-Prowse. Maybe controversial. If you disagree at home, let me know. But come on,
They're both
More
too
better
good.
defensive
We've got
output,
great
better
competition.
It's
distribution.
slightly different, but this is a tough one actually. I can see arguments for both.
I think this is what settles it. Southampton are way more likely to get relegated than Wolves. And that is an argument that we're going to be having very soon, where James Ward-Prowse could be playing in the Championship unless he gets a contract. So
he's playing in a worse team, so he should go in.
He suits the name. He suits the name of this title.
I'm not sure.
He's more likely to go down than Ruben Neves.
I agree, but that's because he's playing
And that's
a
why.
worse
But
side.
that's the title of the team.
I think I would rather have Ruben Neves. If I was
Ooh, wow,
Manchester,
okay.
I'm taking that from a United
Comments.
perspective. United need a centre mid. If you offer me both on the table now, I would
This is for the
probably
comments.
side with Ruben Neves.
We've got to
I
call out
think
Joe.
James Ward-Prowse-
I think James
if
Ward-Prowse
Southampton do
is
go down
fabulous.
there, there'll be a lot of clubs in
Fabulous
for James
Definitely.
Ward-Prowse. I would
Southampton
say.
fans, I defended. I did my best. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
forwards. So you've only got 2 left
Yes.
in your forward areas. Theo, who are your 2?
My 2 forward options. Oh, I've got a manager as well. We're going to save that.
Oh, Dicey's got us up
Yes.
front there.
Up top, we'd do a job. Brennan Johnson and Jared Bowen. They're my forward options. I think in one play you've got Brennan Johnson, I think he's got 7 goals this season, 16% shot conversion
9
rate,
goals
really
in all comps,
7
7
as
in
well.
Premier League, yeah.
And for Nottingham Forest, he's been really good. He can win you a penalty. He's got electric pace, and actually I watched an interview with him. He's a great guy as well. I think he does deserve a mention, or at least get on this team. And then I've got Jared Bowen. I think if you've got a forward that can get 22 Premier League contributions in a season, that's something that I'd like to see another club bring out of him. It's been tough for him this year. I think he's been brilliant in the Conference League. He's got 4 goals in 3 matches that he started. I want to see Bowen return, not just for a good club, but for England. I want to see the best form again. So 2 good options there.
Dukes, have you got either of them?
I have got Brennan Johnson, actually.
Okay.
I think,
Wow.
not necessarily the biggest name down there. I think some of the strikers of these bottom sides have massively underperformed, but you can't accuse that for Brennan Johnson. Should we
Stick
put
him
it
up.
let's get him in the middle?
Just here?
We're playing him through the middle, Brennan.
For me, he's going in the middle.
We've got 3 forwards.
Okay. Wow, okay.
I've gone for
controversial
a sort of quite versatile, pacey, interchanging front line. There's no target man per se. I went with Wilf Zaha. In terms of, I know he's out of contract, so he could well leave. This might get into the Navas debate again. But in terms of what he's done over the last 10 years for Crystal Palace, I think they'd already be in the Championship if it wasn't for him in those worst days under Roy Hodgson. Respect to Roy, but, that side weren't as good as they are now. And Wilf Zaha's, top 10 in their appearance maker, top 10 goal scorer.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what would have happened if he'd stayed at United a bit longer as well. I think he's been a fantastic servant.
Who's your other, though?
I had Nonto.
Yeah, I think the great thing about Gnonto is a
shout.
shout that, he's young and he's got so much potential, already playing for Italy. I think Zaha, he has to be on this 11.
But Zaha's out of contract. Zaha is out of contract, so even if Palace were to go down, he wouldn't be playing Championship.
But the concept of this is too good to go down. Wilfried Zaha's a player that, even last year people were talking about best players outside the top 6.
It's impossible for Zaha.
Yeah, we're talking about the best players available from those teams of which Crystal Palace are in the conversation. He was a player
You're
last
picking
season.
your best 11.
People were talking about as one of the best players outside the top 6.
You guys are writing off Jared Bowen.
The best 11 is what this is about.
I think Jared Bowen,
way
for
too
me,
good to go
has to go in.
But he's had
Absolutely.
such a poor season by his own standards.
Has he, though?
I think until recently.
I think what we got to remember as well, West Ham have a much easier
4
run
goals,
now.
joint top scorer, 4 goals this season.
Yes,
4 goal involvements in last 7, 2 goals, 2 assists. So comparative to last season,
100%. But he's got an easier run now, West Ham, till the end of the season.
These
and
two-
Conference League games,
Okay.
which their favourites.
I'm going to make a decision here.
Go on.
I think we should go 1 from each. So I'm going to go Bowen and Gnonto. I think Zaha doesn't count because I don't think we can count Zaha because he's leaving.
This was
So
just my
he will
wild
not
card
go
entry.
down.
I'm pleased you've gone for it. I think he's quality,
Stick
but
him
he
on
hasn't
then.
played that many games.
We've also
but okay.
got a quick fire
wide.
manager, haven't we? We've got a quick fire
Quickfire
manager.
manager, I think harsh on Wilf Zaha, but that's a decent looking team. Quickly manager.
Quickfire going Julian Lopetegui,
Who you going with?
Sevilla, won a Europa
Deutsch.
League, Real Madrid,
Daichi.
Spain, got to be Julian.
Yeah, I like it, but Daichi, I hope he can keep them up. He's done amazing things with Everton, one of the top performances they've had ever since they've come in.
Already taken them from
Lopetegui?
20th to 13th. Come on.
Yeah, we've got to give credit to Lopetegui. I'm happy for you to.
Oh, Thogden's back down. OK, so there is
Yeah,
confirmation.
Dukes.
Let us know what you
Perfect.
think at home of the too good to go down, the best 11 players from the teams in and around the relegation
No Morgan
zone.
Gibbs-White,
Let
I've
us
just
know
noticed.
what you think. No, Wilf Zaha's a few players out. Let us know
No, Elise.
who they missed out. Elise is a good shout as well, yeah.